Hello, and welcome back to the Emotionally Fit Humans podcast, episode 11. I'm your host, Lauren Taylor, and today's conversation is for the leader who is sick and tired of being the one that everyone relies on. Are you a leader that everyone relies on? Because this episode is for you. Maybe you're also feeling stretched, reactive, buried in that constant busyness, or as some people describe, on the hamster wheel. And maybe you're even being pulled away from real leadership. So this is the episode for the leader who is carrying the weight of too much. The leader who might be firefighting, over-functioning, maybe reacting to everyone else and solving everyone else's problems. Maybe you're the leader who wears this busyness as a badge of honor, but underneath it all, you know that something is off. Because even when you as a leader are doing a lot, you don't feel like you're probably doing the work that you are actually meant to be doing. Maybe you don't feel calm or clear. Maybe you're not intentional. And maybe you don't feel like you're really leading the team with purpose and direction that you're meant to in the role that you're meant to be in. Maybe you as a leader are drifting through every day, responding to what might be the loudest, what is the most urgent, and what you're falling over next, the next job, the next thing to do on your long to-do list. So today I want to talk about that because there are so many leaders living this pattern. And this episode is called Reignite Your Leadership. So reclaim back your role, whether that's CEO, team leader. So claiming back your seat as a leader. And even if CEO is not your title, then this still applies to you because it is not just about a title. It is about the role that you are meant to hold in leadership, your true role. It is about what you are actually leading, whether you are actually leading from the role or whether you have slowly ended up sitting in every other seat of your team member other than your own. And this is what I want to say right from the beginning. It's time to stop. Stop being the drifter in your business, reclaim your role, and become the driver that your team needs, or the leader that your team or business requires. Because not a lot of leaders are failing. They're not lazy. They're not lacking care, and they're not incapable. Sometimes leaders are just overextended in roles that were actually never meant to be theirs to be carrying. And yet they're juggling all these other roles and not stepping into their own. And when this happens, leadership starts to become a blur. Now, I want you to reflect a little bit on yourself. Are you the person or the leader who now is the go-to for everything? Are you the safety net for everyone? The one who fills the gap, the glue in between it all? So slowly you may have become the person who solves other people's problems, the rescuer, the decision maker, the smoothing over, the checking in person, the fixer of problems, the reminder of other people's roles, and you feel fully absorbed in everyone else's challenges or issues that they're going through day after day. And after a while, you're not really leading your business or the team, and you're just trying to hold it all together. So it's a very different thing. And I think this is where many capable leaders get stuck. They're sick and tired of being stretched. stuck on the hamster wheel of this constant busyness and carrying the weight of being the one that every person relies on. Do you want to stop the firefighting, the overfunctioning, and stop reacting to everyone else all day, feeling like a puppet pulled in so many different directions? It's time to stop drifting through the day in overwhelm. And now, I want you to reflect, is what you actually want is to get back into calm, intentional leadership. Most leaders want to reclaim their role. They want to lead their team with purpose and direction and to feel clear, focused, and energized again. Now, here's something I really want to challenge you with today. Most leaders believe, and I've heard it said all the time, leaders say to me, Lauren, I need more time to think, more time to focus, to lead, to work on the business, not in it all the time, and more time to actually breathe. But often the issue is not time. The issue is that they are sitting in every other seat except doing their own work. They're doing today's jobs, stepping into every gap, solving everyone else's issues, and then wondering why they never get to think, to lead, or to focus on the actual direction of the business. So they say to me things like, oh, I need more freedom. I just need more space. Again, I need more time. But often what they're really saying is, I wish I could finally do my real work. And this is the different problem. Because if the real issue is not simply time, but role confusion, over responsibility, blurred boundaries, or even lack of boundaries, no boundaries in place, and leadership drifting, then the solution is not just in finding more hours. The solution is helping you return to the actual role that you were meant to play. What if the real breakthrough is not about gaining more time, but getting back into your leadership chair, your CEO chair, if you're CEO, your team leadership chair, and instead of occupying every other seat in the business? What if that's the real conversation? Because some of the leaders I see are working incredibly hard, but they are no longer anchored and grounded in their true role. They are operating now from habit, from pressure, from an old identity, from responsibility patterns or people-pleasing patterns, from fear of things dropping. What if I'm actually no good at this role? From a belief that if they do not hold it all together, then it's all going to fall apart. And the thing is that this pattern is totally exhausting. This is why we've got so many leaders on the edge of burnout. They're living on that edge of burnout always. It creates the busyness, but not necessarily the leadership. It creates movement, but no direction. It creates activity, but not clarity. It creates dependence, but not empowerment in empowering the people around you. And the best leaders we know grow leaders within their teams. And eventually, it pulls a leader further and further away from the work that actually matters most. And this is one of the questions that when I'm coaching leaders, I'm asking them, what matters most in your leadership? And this is the big thinking, the visionary, the direction, the leadership presence, the culture building, the strategic direction, the development of their team, the important conversations, the role modeling, the decision making from calm instead of chaos. And eventually, these are the things that get drowned in this sea of busyness. And then leadership we look around in leadership and wonder why we feel so frustrated. We might feel disconnected, depleted, and feel constantly like this to-do list is growing and that we are behind in our own work. Now, I want to go a layer deeper because it's not just a practical issue here. And I know that the title of my podcast helps with this, Emotionally Fit Humans. It is an emotional and an identity issue too. For a lot of leaders, overfunctioning might feel normal, and this is their learned habit because being needed feels familiar and being relied upon feels like people need you and it's validating and it's giving you significance. That being the one who can handle it all, juggle all the balls or spin all the plates feels like it's actually a part of who you are. So even when it is exhausting, there can still be a part of you as a leader that is attached to that role, to this old identity, the reliable one, the capable one, the one who always steps in, the one who can carry more than anyone else, holding all of this pressure on your shoulders. And yet that same pattern can become the very thing that is keeping you trapped. Because the moment leadership becomes about overcarrying and juggling too many things, it stops being sustainable. Not just for the leader, but for the whole system, the whole ecosystem of your business and your leadership and the people within that. If the leader is always stepping in, I want you to think about what are the other people doing? Other people are not stretching and growing. If the business keeps revolving around one person's overfunctioning, then the whole thing can actually be like Jenga and pull one little piece of wood out and one person away and the whole system falls down. And this is why reclaiming your role as a leader matters so much. But I want to frame it with this, that reclaiming your role is not selfish and it's not stepping back because you're careless. It's not abandoning any responsibility. It is actually stepping back into the right responsibility. It's recognizing that leadership is not about carrying everyone else and carrying all the things. It's about creating the conditions within your ecosystem of your business for people to rise, people to step up. And sometimes this might mean that you're not stepping in too quickly to rescue other people. You're not answering questions quickly, not taking on other people's challenges or problems and not stepping into every gap. Sometimes it means just holding your seat and staying in that a bit longer, holding your role and holding a line of what is actually yours to do and what needs to be developed, delegated, deleted, or even clarified or refined in a new system. And I think this is where so many leaders need a really honest moment with themselves. So I want you to think about these reflective questions. Where am I over involved? Where am I carrying what no longer belongs to me? Or probably didn't in the first place? Where have I confused being useful and supportive with being more effective as a leader? Where have I drifted from real leadership into constant reaction? So think about that constant reactive behavior. because the leader who is always in reaction is not always in leadership. And this matters because your team does not just need your effort, they actually require your direction. You're the person who's putting the red flag at the top of the mountain. You're creating that direction. They do not need you just to be busy or to clarify everything that they're uncertain about. They don't need you to carry them all the time. They need you to lead them. Now, another piece I want to really weave in here is that there are so many leaders who feel that they've tried everything. Oh, Lauren, I've tried everything with my team of leading. And maybe you're feeling like this. Maybe you've said things like, got them to do some leadership courses or training. I share some of the books of leadership. Me, myself, I've tried journaling or breathing or meditation or new routines. I've had a leadership coach I've been to a health coach or a psychologist, and I'm doing all the things, but I'm still facing the same challenges. If this is you, I really want you to hear this with compassion. So be empathetic towards yourself. The issue is that you've not tried. It's not that you have not tried hard enough. The issue may that you've been not able yet to see the real pattern clearly enough. Because a lot of leaders are actually not short on effort. They're short on seeing the core pattern driving the way they lead. So instead of shifting the real issue, they keep adding more and more things to it and more things to your to-do list, more learning, more support, more tools, new insights, more habits. I have to create new habits, more doing. And yet they're repeating the same patterns. And these patterns stay untouched. They're the rescuer pattern, the over-responsibility pattern that we talked about, the identity attachment to this being needed and feeling significance, the fear, again, of stepping back, the inability of being able to hold boundaries without guilt, the habit of solving before others get a chance to solve problems for themselves. The unconscious belief that leadership means carrying more. And when that pattern stays untouched, all the extra effort in the world can leave you feeling stuck. That is why this work matters so much, because real leadership transformation is not just about adding new skills. It is about seeing what keeps repeating and shifting that at the root cause. This is where the emotional fitness becomes so powerful. Emotional fitness helps you to notice what is driving your leadership when pressure hits. It helps you to see what happens in your nervous system when things feel uncertain, fear, messy, or out of control. So are you someone who's struggling to let go of this control? It helps you notice where you move into rescuing, into over-functioning, into over-explaining or justifying, over-owning or over-carrying too many things. Emotional fitness helps you to build the capacity to stay grounded enough to make different choices. Not just once, not just when things are calm, but in real life, in the pressure, in the day-to-day. Because leadership is not tested when things are easy. Leadership is revealed when there are gaps. when pressure arrives, when emotions from your team turn up, all the moving parts and competing priorities, and you still choose leadership and not to abandon your role. That and this is where powerful leadership stands up. And this is what I want for more leaders. I want more leaders to be back in their seat, whether that's CEO role, team leader role, manager role, in the seat of your own leadership. Not just as busy or competent or capable and not just coping, but clear, intentional, grounded, focused, energized, leading with purpose and direction. I want more leaders who know the difference between supporting their team and carrying, or you might even feel at times that you're dragging that team with you. So more leaders who can stop drifting through the day, reacting to everyone else. More leaders who can actually become the driver of the team again. Because being the driver of the team does not mean becoming controlling. It means becoming intentional. It means you are not being thrown about from every need, every emotion, every interruption, every problem, and every decision that lands at your door or at your desk or near you. It means you know where you are leading from. You know what your role is. You know what matters most, and you know what is yours to hold, and you know how to lead your team without becoming the emotional pack horse for the whole business. Now that is a very different way of leading. And it is a much more sustainable approach. So if you are listening to this and thinking, oh, this is me, if you're tired of being the one that everyone relies on while also feeling stuck in busyness and being pulled away from your real leadership, if you are tired of reacting, rescuing, and drifting through your day in constant overwhelm, if you're ready to get back into your true role as a leader, driving the team, instead of carrying or dragging them with you, if you are craving calm and clarity, not just more coping, then I want to say this really clearly. You do not need more pressure. You do not need to try harder. You do not need another layer of self-blame or another to-do list. What you may need is to finally see the pattern, reclaim your role, and rebuild the way that you lead from there, from your seat. That is exactly why I'm so passionate about this. And it is exactly why I've created an upcoming workshop around this work. Because this is not about inspiring people. It is about interrupting the pattern that keeps pulling you out of your real role, interrupting the pattern and the cycle of busyness, overfunctioning, and constant reaction, interrupting the leadership drift that leaves you exhausted, over-relied upon, and disconnected from the work that you are actually meant to be doing, and helping you to step back into calm, intentional leadership, back in that CEO seat. So, if this episode has been speaking directly to you, I want to invite you to come deeper with me. Click on the link in the show notes and join me for my upcoming workshop. That workshop is for leaders who are ready to stop sitting in every seat other than their own. It is for leaders who are ready to stop being the drifter in their own business or company. It is for leaders who are ready to reclaim their role, lead with clarity and direction, and become the driver their team actually needs. And if you've been someone who has tried all the things and still feels stuck, this is especially for you, because often the breakthrough is not about doing more. It is finally seeing what has been running underneath it all. And before we close, I want to leave you with a question to reflect on. Where in your leadership are you sitting in every seat except your own? And what would it like to come back to your real role? What would that feel like? Not the role pressure that's handed to you, not the fear that you created, and not your habits that have been trained into you. Your real role, what would it look like to come back to that? What would need to change in the way that you think, respond, decide, delegate, in how you communicate, and how you turn up and hold yourself? And what might become possible, not just for you, but for your whole team, your whole business, if you stop carrying what was actually never yours to keep. I want you to sit with that, because that reflection alone could begin to shift something important. So thank you for joining me today in episode 11 of the Emotionally Fit Humans podcast. Thank you for doing this work, not just for your business, but for the kind of human and leader that you are becoming, the future leader that you are becoming. Leadership is not about occupying every seat. It's about having the courage to sit fully in your own and empower others to rise. So until next time, let's become emotionally fit humans together. And don't forget to click on the link in the show notes for the upcoming workshop.